I mean, Filipino women are strong and they're vocal. From a legal perspective, what's the advantages on the CR1 versus the K1? You know, marriage in the Philippines is hard. It's not for everyone.
Wow, you can actually get married in Vegas so quickly, in just a matter of an hour. So she can sue her husband if her husband divorces her.
Correct.
As soon as I arrived here, I got my green card.
Hi guys. What you just heard from me and Chris in this video might have been your confusion or your curiosity about your visa journey with your US citizen partner, correct? Are you still confused of which visa you'll apply for? And if you happen to choose one of them, sis, are you fully aware of your status or your security once you get to the US? So it's time. There's a reason, sis, for you to finish this video because we try to provide comprehensive points, guys, between spousal visa, aka CR1, and fiancé visa or K1 visa. I understand that it's not an easy decision to make, and especially that it's not us who decide for the visa we're gonna apply for to begin with. It's the US citizen petitioner. So sis, don't ever miss this video, all right? And also don't ever miss leaving your questions or your comments below. Yes, right here below, okay? I'm so glad to read all of them. Guys, happy watching and welcome to Filipino Wife Abroad channel.
Okay, so we're on a long drive to Michigan right now, and to keep Pinky awake because she keeps falling asleep on me, we decided to have a conversation and share it with everyone on her channel. So Pinky, what are we talking about today?
Well, why don't we talk about the difference between CR1 visa and K1 visa?
Okay, so for those of you who may not be familiar with those terms, the K1 visa is the fiancé visa. That means you get married in the United States, and the CR1 visa is the spousal visa. So that means you get married in the country of the spouse's origin. So, Pinkies, which visa did we select in our journey?
Well, we got this CR1 visa or spousal visa.
Correct. So a lot of people have been asking you why you chose the spousal visa. Is that correct? What kind of feedback are you getting on your channel?
Yes, it's very frequent question.
So what we're going to do is we're going to just talk about the advantages of each relative to your situation. So from the bride's perspective, Pinky, what would be the advantage of the K1 fiancé visa?
Well, very obviously, I think K1 visa or fiancé visa, the bride can go to the US quickly, all right? She does not need to process a lot of papers for her wedding.
Well, how long does it normally take for the K1 visa to...
Well, just like based on my friends' experiences, the process like at least 6 months. Yes, depends on the progress of their papers.
So, also from the bride's perspective, getting married easily. So you went to Vegas. Tell everybody about what you saw in Vegas from the bride perspective.
Well, when I went to Vegas, I was really surprised because every corner of Vegas, you could really see bride with their, wear wedding dress, just with their group, everywhere. So that made me ask my husband. And there I realized, like, wow, you can actually get married in Vegas so quickly, in just a matter of an hour. Yeah, you can get married in Vegas, baby. That snap.
All right. So from the groom perspective on the K1, the advantages that I saw was that I could have Pinky with me a lot quicker when you take the whole marriage process out of the equation overseas. So that was certainly inviting, and something that was super important to me. It also seemed to be a bit easier of a paperwork, and historically the K1 visas had a real high rate of approval. Up until 3 or 4 years ago, the rate of approval was over 90%. That has dramatically dropped in recent years. So Pinky, what were the advantages of the CR1 visa from the bride perspective?
The CR1 or spousal visa. Well, for me, I got already my green card. As soon as I arrived here, I got my green card. That means I can work here. I already have my security to support myself whatever happens. Well, unfortunately, I'm not working for now since we're just very busy. But if I get a chance to work, then I can do that anytime. I just waited like maybe for 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, it was 2 weeks.
And I got my green card. For legal aspects, I feel so secured. My husband engaged me with all the legal transactions he has in a bank. Because I don't know what might gonna happen to me here. Let's say I might have an accident or I get sick. Then my husband has been making sure to me that I'll be safe and secure here. Like, he provided me my medical insurances like that. And then he enjoined me with with his bank account, something like that.
So credit cards.
Yes, I got
bank
them
accounts,
now. Yes.
ATMs, insurance cards.
Yeah, which in fact, we went to the bank together, and I faced, of course, his banker, and I managed to process it myself.
So talk about your decision, our decision to have the wedding in the Philippines versus having it in the U.S.
Well, that is the disadvantage already.
But what is the advantage of having the wedding in the Philippines instead of the U.S.? Not the disadvantage of having it in the Philippines, but the advantage.
Okay, the advantage of getting married or having a wedding in the Philippines. Well, I think it is every woman's dream to have her wedding, and especially if she sees her family is intact. I mean, all the relatives are there.
Well, from the groom perspective, there were several advantages to getting married in the Philippines. One, it was way cheaper than if we had held a marriage in the United States, except if we went to Vegas. But most importantly for me, it was an opportunity for me to spend time on a task together with Pinky's family. It gave me the chance to interact with them, to have that shared experience that I wouldn't have had we gotten married in the U.S. So I saw that as a huge positive and worth delaying the visa process a bit. Even though the paperwork was onerous and they made us jump through a bunch of hoops in the Philippines, that was okay because we jumped through the hoops with her family and her friends, and we just would not have had that opportunity. I wouldn't have had that opportunity to spend the time with them, to get to know, who my wife really was. Because the only way you really know the person is to see him interact with the family and with
I agree.
So, from my perspective as the groom, making sure there was not too big of an imbalance of power in the relationship. I never wanted Pinky to be solely dependent upon me. This is a strong, capable, independent person. and I didn't want that to change. So for me, the CR1 helped level that power out a bit. If she was here on a fiance visa, I could have her shipped back at any time to the country of origin. I could also not file the green card paperwork and keep her from working for years if I wanted to. And that's just too much influence and power in the relationship for me.
I think so.
That's just not the kind of marriage I wanted. And then on top of it, since she was already my spouse, I was able, before she arrived, to get medical insurance and dental insurance and vision insurance, all those things that come with the work benefits she had full access to. She was set up as beneficiaries to some of my other key benefits. So it's a major plus. So when she arrived here, she was secure in the fact that she had a 2-year stay at a minimum, because the green card was a 2-year timeline, and she knew that she had all these other benefits and everything put together, and that I wasn't, her ability to stay in the U.S. was not subject to a whim of mine. So I saw that as super important.
Needless to say, every woman, I think, desires to be secured, right, guys?
Yeah, so one of the other benefits that I saw as a groom is that the CR1 is actually cheaper to process. I actually saved a little money processing the CR1 over the 90-day, the K1 visa. So over a 2-year period, the K1 visa is quite a bit more paperwork.
Oh, really?
Quite a bit more expensive.
So K1 is more expensive than CR1?
Over a 2-year period.
Mm-hmm.
So for us, we paid for the CR1, and then in 2 years, we will pay for an extension to the green card. And that's quite a bit less money. So Pinky, how has your experience been with the CR1 process? So what is your feedback from, the Filipina bride perspective?
If you are a fiance and then you guys fight here, or like, let's say your husband's mind changed, he's not determined to marry you, so most likely he will send you back to the Philippines, right? So that is just so hurtful fact that may gonna happen to you. For the CR1, well, let's say one day your husband changed his mind. She has this legal rights and protections,
which everybody needs. So nobody should walk into a relationship with a complete imbalance of power.
So she can sue her husband if her husband divorces her.
Correct.
But with the fiance visa, like, you have no choice, guys, right?
That's right.
Unless you're gonna find another boyfriend here. But the problem here, Charming, is that it's not them, it's not the women who decide for this kind of visa, the American or the foreigner decide for what visa he's gonna process.
Well, it should be a discussion. And if the woman wants to be the U.S. as quickly as possible, then the K1 is probably a great solution if she's got comfort. But she should at least understand the difference and have a discussion. Marriage has to be a give and take.
That's a very good advice there, Charming.
Yeah, I mean, Filipino women are strong and they're vocal, and
not all, not all.
Most of them, they're strong people. And, they should make sure, they understand the difference between the two, what they're getting in.
But not for deciding, like immediately deciding which visa they're gonna have, because it's not it's not easy. Believe me.
No, it's not.
It's not easy, and especially that, let's face the fact, Charming, that the man will finance this, okay? They pay. If the woman pays for it, well, you know.
I mean, that's part of it. It's who's paying, it's how quick. But,
I mean, be realistic.
But you should still understand. Walk into it eyes wide open. You know, if...
So what about this? Like, the woman wants security. You know, she want to have the green card. She has full knowledge of what is going to be her life here in the U.S. She wants security. But, but the boyfriend, he says, let's just try K1 visa. And then let's just get to know each other first.
Well, you know, that may be okay.
Which one is okay? Okay for the man, but for the woman.
Well, it may be okay for the woman too, but it's a risk. It's a higher risk than the CR1.
Yeah. So what she wants is CR1 actually, but she's not paying.
But that means she's probably going to stay 6 months to a year longer in the Philippines. Because then, if it's a CR1, by the time you figure out how to get married in the Philippines, even if you go to City Hall, to meet all the requirements and to get the guy, the man to come fly back and forth to the Philippines, because it takes weeks and weeks to move through all the requirements.
Okay, just here's a very quick advice, I think, for the church wedding. For me, church wedding, Catholic wedding is really hard. Really, I swear. I'm born again Christian. I had my wedding there. Actually, it's not difficult. Just arrange the schedule. The woman should arrange the schedule of the seminar and tell your husband when it's going to be. So your husband can adjust, of course, his work schedule. Not just only that, you have to wait and you have to know the schedule for your church church wedding. But also after your wedding, you gotta process it by yourself actually, by going to the city hall or your municipal hall and process your wedding registration, because sometimes the pastors don't. So you follow it up and you will have your seminar there in your municipal hall or your city hall.
But to just get a marriage license to be married in a church takes 6 weeks.
Yes.
Period.
Okay.
And unless you're planning on spending 4 to 6 weeks in the Philippines or hopping back and forth multiple times, it's a pain versus spending an hour in Vegas and just getting married.
Yeah. Getting married in the Philippines is a church schedule, city hall schedule, which is your wedding registration processing, or your PSA.
Not the seminar, but the
PSA.
seminar, the class.
Your PSA. Something like that.
It was, be prepared. Don't just expect you to show up and get a license.
Yes, right.
You can't do that in a week. It's multiple trips or 6 weeks minimum.
Yeah, so that is, I think, our conclusion is that
marriage in the Philippines is hard. It's not for everyone, and it takes a long time and impacts. K1 visa is not perfect either. It puts you subject to its own set of constraints, and you miss the opportunity to engage your family. So it's really what works best for you in your situation. But whatever it is, you should have a dialogue. Make sure you talk to each other.
Yes, I think so. Because there are some couples who went through the K1 visa, but it worked out.
Absolutely works out.
Yeah.
And there are many people that went through the CR1 visa that it didn't work out. So it goes both ways.
Yes, right. So what matters, guys, is just have a communication. You talk. So hopefully, guys, we helped you with your confusions to decide whether you're gonna choose a K1 or the CR1.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Remember to hit subscribe.